Hello everyone. Welcome to the series on advanced database management systems. My name is Dr. Neeti Mathur and I'm your online faculty for the subject. Before we begin discussing this module and going further with this subject, let me introduce myself to you. I have more than 12 years of teaching experience at premier universities and academic institutions in India. Also, I did my bachelor's degree in business administration from Jai Narayan Vyas University, Jodhpur. I did master's in international commerce and policy from Valparaiso University, Indiana, USA. Post that, I pursued PhD in student exchange program from National Law University, Jodhpur. I have published number of research papers and articles in journals of repute in national and international domain. So now let me come to the topic, and I am very positive and very hopeful that going further, we are going to learn a lot about advanced database management system, and we are going to talk about a lot of practical things that are going on in improving the technique that is offered in advanced database management system to make it more prompt and easy for use for the managers so that they can take help of data analysts and then work in a better manner in addressing the challenges that their businesses face in day-to-day life. So, in this particular module, we are going to talk about the introduction to query processing and the entire process of query processing. This is, even if you are not from the technical background, you are going to find it very easy to understand because I'm going to take you very slow with the process when it comes to learning query language and query processing. Trust me, it is a very simple process, and once you get a hang of it, then you will be quick and adapt in addressing the queries, finding the result, and then going ahead with proper data analytics. So, wish you all the best in learning this entire module and the subject on advanced database management system. And let us begin with module 1. In this session, we are going to talk about the query processing. So, I'm going to give you the basic idea about query processing, and we are going to discuss these concepts in detail in the upcoming session. So, let's get started. By the end of this session, you will be able to discuss the basic concepts that relate to query processing. Now, you must be wondering what exactly is query processing. So, always remember this thing that we are humans and we are interacting with a machine. Now, this system, laptop, desktops, what are these? These are basically the systems. So now naturally our language of communication and their language of communication is going to be different. And that is why to come to mutual terms, we have this query processing or different query languages, the most popular one being SQL or SQL. So here, what you basically do is if you want to ask certain question from the other person, what you are going to do? You are going to frame a question out of that sentence. If you want to ask me, how am I doing? You are going to ask, how are you? So this is a common language for interaction between us, which is English language. For the common language for us to communicate with the system is SQL per se. So here you are going to type a query using certain syntax, certain commands, and then you are going to process. Now, how we are going to understand whether this communication was successful or not? When the query is returned in the actual result or the accurate result which you were looking for, and that too very quickly, then it means that your query processing or your communication was successful. So now coming to our question of query processing. So basically, it is the process of translating a user's query into a form that can be executed by the database management system. Now, when we talk about these computers, they have n number of files. Now, if we talk about the insurance business, they have day-to-day Excel sheets containing the data. If you want to find out about the sale of a particular day by collaborating all the Excel sheets across the country, then you have to type a query accordingly so that the data entered by each city branch can be collaborated, and then you can get the consolidated result of the days. So this is all the task of query processing. Now this query processing involves certain stages, certain steps. So the very first being parsing, followed by validation, optimization and execution. We are going to discuss these in detail. So now talking about the query processing stages, the very first one is parsing. Parsing is basically a stage in which the query is converted into a tree-like structure. So it has these logical steps as in a tree where you connect these branches and one by one those operations are being executed. So now suppose when we talked about these consolidated Excel sheets of different cities, the sale of insurance policies, it used the command sum. So now when we talk about sum is an operation where you are adding two digits or different figures and then coming up with the result. So similarly, you are going to convert this query into a tree-like structure. The machine does it, but you give the syntax to it. Then comes validation. Once that tree-like structure is formulated, then the system or the query language checks for the syntax and semantic errors. We are going to talk about these errors in detail, but to understand in a simple manner, in case if the spelling is incorrect, if you want to select a certain Excel sheet or a particular field or a column of the table, and you have wrongly typed the spelling of select not as SELECT but as SELET, then that is again an error. So for validation, again it is going to prompt that this is incorrect. Then comes optimization. This is a very crucial step of query processing because the entire success of query processing depends upon this step. Obviously, you need the basic steps such as parsing and validation, but here you actually execute the query in an efficient manner, in a quicker manner. Then comes execution. Execution is basically the plan to understand how this entire query will be executed to retrieve the desired data or the result. Now let us discuss these query processing stages in detail. So the very first one is parsing. So parsing is the building block or the first step of query processing. Here, as we already discussed, it is basically a step in which you are converting the query into a tree-like structure. This is called AST or abstract syntax tree, where you have the syntax select, from, etc. Again, we are going to discuss this in detail in the upcoming session. Then comes the AST logical operations. So how these operations are performed? Firstly, we go for select, which says from where you want to select the data. So again, from, so it is going to tell you which table, then where, which column, which cell, and then join. So if you want to club the data, suppose you want to club column A and column B of the Excel sheet, then you are going to give the command join or give the syntax join. Now parser also checks for the errors. So what are these errors? Such as missing keywords, incorrect pronunciation. So if you want to use the syntax from and you have wrongly written it, FORM, then it is going to prompt you that this is incorrect. Moving ahead, the second stage of query processing is validation. So here, basically, the query is checked for semantic errors. What are the semantic errors? Invalid table or column names. So wrongfully, if you have given a different table name or a column name, then it is going to prompt that there seems to be an error because it will not give you the desired result and it will return the error. Then the validator ensures that the query makes sense in context of the database scheme. So it should align with the proper database scheme. Also, the semantic errors can be caused by typing errors, missing references, and logical inconsistency. The next and the most crucial stage of query processing is optimization. This is the third stage of query processing, and here the query is transformed into an efficient execution plan. So the goal of optimization is basically to minimize the time that the system takes in executing the query. Because we are working in real time and we need quick action. We need to find out quickly where exactly is the desired result and the query should give us the desired result. Now think about an example. When you are browsing an e-catalog on say Amazon and the Amazon system needs to return whether this particular order is in warehouse or not. So if they take long, say 5 to 10 minutes, are you going to wait for it? No. So here, quickly they return the result and you get to see whether your order is confirmed or not. Also, you get to know the date of delivery. So this all depends upon query processing and optimization. Now, the optimizer's role here is to consider factors such as size of the table, selectivity of the conditions, and the availability of indexes. So all these are important because tables, again, it is not one or two items in the table. There are so many items in the table, then warehouses are different. So size of table matters. So the processor has to be very quick. Then comes the conditions. So here, suppose if you are in a particular state, then again it is going to check that the customer is in a particular state and they are going to refer to that particular warehouse. So that again depends upon selectivity. Then comes the availability of indexes. Whenever we go to library, the most easy way is to locate a book is through the sections, and then they have the proper system of indexing. Or if you want to refer to a book, again, book has indexes, so you can refer to a particular term in which chapter it is, on which page number it is, etc. So same goes right with query processing. The last stage of query processing is execution. So here, basically, the execution plan is carried out to retrieve the desired data or the accurate result. So here the execution engine accesses the database storage system to read and process the relevant data, because already in the previous three stages, we have clearly defined what data we are looking for and what operation we want to conduct on this particular data. So here we are basically executing the plan to get the accurate result. So the resulting data is returned to the user in this stage, and it is returned in the form of result set. Now let me help you understand certain query optimization techniques. So there are three query optimization techniques. First one is cost-based optimization. Next is rule-based optimization. And the third one is hybrid optimization. So as the name depicts, when it comes to cost-based optimization, the cost of executing different queries is considered, and the plan with the lowest estimated cost is selected. When it comes to rule-based optimization, it follows predefined rules, and these rules are basically to transform the query into an efficient form. Then comes hybrid optimization. So this is the combination of both cost-based optimization and rule-based optimization. So here you are not only simply going to look for the predefined rules for transforming the query into efficient form, but you are also going to look for the cost factor. Then comes index optimization. So here, let me help you understand what exactly are the indexes. So we already know the meaning, but here when it comes to advanced database management system, it relates to the data structures and data sets. So basically, indexes help the data structures in improving the performance of database queries. So what are the different types of indexes? B trees, hash indexes, and inverted indexes. So how do you select the index? You basically choose the most appropriate index for a given query. You see that which one is going to be the most relevant one and which one is going to help you in optimization, that is quickly returning the result. Then comes index maintenance. So simply giving the index doesn't work. You have to maintain the index, and you can do so by keeping indexes up to date as the underlying data changes, because every day you are capturing data and every time you have to label it correctly so that it is stored at the right way. Now comes query tuning. This is a part of query processing, and this is one of the steps of query processing. So here, basically, you are going to improve the performance of existing query. And how do you do that? You have these different techniques for query tuning. So basically, you identify and eliminate the bottlenecks in the query plan. If there are any, you take the corrective measure. Then comes optimizing the use of indexes. If you have proper indexing system, then your optimization will become more efficient. Then comes denormalizing the database schema for specific query. So again, for different queries, we have specific accurate result. So you have specific query for specific function, specific task. So if you are combining anything, you will use join and, again, different types of syntax for what exactly do you want the query to do for you. Then comes query performance monitoring. So here it does not end with simply giving the query, maintaining it. You need to monitor it as well. So it includes continuous monitoring of the performance of database queries and then identifying and resolving performance issues, errors before they impact the users. That is why we have a dedicated IT team that keeps looking for, the errors in the database, as and when there is any missing information, incorrect information, then they keep on doing the data validation at the back. Then comes the tools for query performance monitoring. So what are the tools that we use for query performance monitoring? Database management system logs, wherein you monitor the system, and query profiling tools. So again, you use these tools to ensure that your query profile is updated. Also, you use application performance management or APM tool. Now let us talk about query processing in modern database management systems. So here you have distributed database management system, because as the business expands, you have different branches located in different parts of the cities, or different cities of the country, or different countries of the world as well. So here the query processing is in the distributed environment, and it also represents a lot of additional challenges when it comes to combining the data. Then comes parallel query processing. So here it takes care of executing parts of the query concurrently on multiple processors. So here you may be having the data analyst, data scientists sitting in different cities, and then they are also working on query processing. So here your query is running on multiple processors. Then comes the adaptive query processing. So here it includes adjusting the query plan based on the real-time data and system condition. So this is very important for businesses, because they the external business environment keeps sending sudden challenges towards the business, so they have to address it quickly. And when they want to address it, they need to prepare a report and they need to do a lot of data analysis before they address the challenge, because they have to look from the customer's point of view, market point of view, and competitors point of view. So you need this kind of query processing where you are working in real time. Now let us talk about the scope of query processing. So machine learning is a part of query processing, and all the tasks that you do on machine learning, you need to have the query processing done. Then only you will be in a position to execute the queries or the analysis part effectively. So here, machine learning based query optimization is widely used, and just because machine learning is becoming very popular with robotics, AI, etc. So basically you are utilizing machine learning techniques to predict query optimization plans. So all your query plans are going to be more optimal, and their prediction is going to be more quicker when you are utilizing machine learning techniques, because here you are giving a command to the machine to quickly execute your query. Then comes the query processing for no SQL databases. So here you may find certain databases which are not SQL based, or which are prepared on different database, and then you are using them for SQL or SQL. So basically this includes adapting query processing techniques for non-relational data models. So here, just think about it. When you do not have the relational tables, when there is no relation between the tables and columns, yet you need to join the data. So the query processing has a solution for that as well. It can combine the data for you. Then comes real-time query processing. So again, handling continuous data streams and providing real-time insights. So one of the examples could be the active dashboards, wherein constantly query is prompted, it is giving accurate results, the results are being converted into reports, there are data scientists, data analysts working on it, and then you finally get the accurate result that you are looking for. So one of the examples could be the live screen of stock market per se. So with this, we have come to an end of this session. In this session, we have learned about the basic concepts of query processing. I hope you liked this session, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.